Good morning, all of you. Yesterday we have seen uh, just a little bit history about Java as a programming language and how Java works on different platforms. Now, today we go a little bit uh, more details about Java platforms, Java architecture, how to install the Java setup, that is JDK, and how to write the first program in Java and compile and execute. So today we'll see. So basically yesterday we discussed Java platform. Java platform is the hardware or software. Java platform is the software platform. It is not a hardware platform. But if you came across a terminology, the platform may be the hardware or software. In case of Java, it is a software platform. In case of Java, if you consider what is a software platform, so in a Java's, it contains the API and the Java virtual machine. So API means application programming interface. The API, the libraries are available to develop the desktop level application. So these set of APIs are available as per the JDK or Java language version 8. The 6 to 7,000 classes and interfaces are available to develop an application. So these are the inbuilt classes are available. We have to just use those classes and design our application. So it is a very huge set of APIs are available, and these all APIs are run on a Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine and the API combines the Java platform. On this, we have to install on the hardware based platform. That means on a microprocessor. Definitely, there is a little operating system is running. It may be the Windows, Mac, Ubuntu. On mobile, if you just uh, check the Samsung mobile phones, older Samsung mobile phones, they are using the BADA as operating system. On that BADA operating system also Java applications are running. Nowadays also it is running, but no one is using the older phones. We are now using the smartphones. Okay, so this is a flat platform, and here our program is um, available, myprogram.java, and this program we will compile and execute using the JVM. Okay, so this is overall the idea about platform. Now this is a detailed architecture of Java and JVM. So it is a basically Java architecture, and this internal part, this is a Java virtual machine. So it is a JVM. The short form is a JVM, long form is a Java virtual machine. So virtual machine, it is a running on a top of operating system. So here your operating system is available. Here your hardware. This is OS. This is your JVM, and this is other part is related to your compilation process and your class, the verification of the bytecode, security checking, etc, etc. So we'll go step by step. Now suppose I write a first program in a notepad as a hello world in Java, and I save with the .java extension. So this is your Java source code. At the time of compilation, I need a Java compiler. So for a Java compiler, I have to install the JDK, that is Java Development Kit. In next slide we will see. This is a Java compiler, came with your JDK setup. Java compiler will help you to compile your Java source code, and it will convert into the Java bytecode. This is your .class file. It is a Java bytecode, that is, in general terms, it is known as object code. Now this bytecode is loaded with the help of class loader. So Java bytecode moves locally or network. That means this bytecode you can, if we are developing as a desktop application, so it is on a local drive. If it is a network, so you can pass this bytecode to the another machine, there you can execute it. Yes, so this is possible. Now it will load the bytecode with the class loader, and which is the main entry of the program. That main class is loaded, and along with that other supporting classes are loaded. Here another component available, bytecode verifier. So yesterday we have seen that is a security feature. So security feature here, the bytecode verifier verifies whether this code is a Java bytecode or not. If it is not a Java bytecode, if it is if this code is injected with any some other malicious code, then this bytecode verifier reject this code. Okay, so it will not run in a Java virtual machine. Here it is rejects. So after compilation it rejects, that means it will not execute, right? So Java virtual machine, if the bytecode verifier verifies this bytecode and if it is okay, then it is loaded into the Java virtual machine. And now what is the role of Java virtual machine? Java virtual machine will only executes the uh, your bytecode and pass on to their OS. With the help of OS, it will definitely executes. But here, main thing is uh, two components are given: Java interpreter and just-in-time compiler. Now you will say here is also compiler, here is also compiler. This is Java compiler, this is just-in-time compiler, this is Java interpreter. So why too many things are available? What is the use of Java compiler? It converts source code to the bytecode. Now after bytecode it loaded into the memory. Now Java interpreter will execute the instruction one by one. What is the role of interpreter? Interpreter will read the instruction and execute, read the instruction and execute. Interpreter doesn't have their own memory to store the instruction if instructions are repetitive. For example, if you want to execute a for loop 100 times, so the in a for loop the instruction is the same, that is a for loop, only the values are changing for iteration, right? That for loop is the same, so it will only iterate 100 times. That means instruction is same, only the count numbers are changing. So interpreter will read that instruction 100 times. That is a drawback of interpreter. But if you pass the same instruction to the compiler, compiler will remember the previous instruction, that is a for loop, so only it will pass the value. So compiler having its own memory, that's why compiler, in that case compiler is faster. Otherwise, if the straightforward instructions are there, new instructions are there, in that case interpreter is available. So in the combination of interpreter and the compiler, with the combination of interpreter and compiler, Java virtual machine will work. So basically interpreter is combined here to just speed up the Java code, because already Java is slow. So just to speed up those things, here interpreter is available. And then runtime system is an internal part of the JVM. What is a runtime system? At a runtime, for your program, for your application, all memory management, your thread management, your the allocation of the object, deallocation of the object, all features are services are provided by this runtime system. So runtime system having so many services inside this. Some of the services are like memory management, thread management, type checker, garbage collection. So these things are available in this runtime system. So JVM will only executes your code. JVM will not compile your code. Always remember, most of the time students are telling JVM do everything. No, JVM will not do everything. JVM will only executes your bytecode. JVM will not create a bytecode. Always remember, who creates a bytecode? Java compiler. So most of the time, at the time of interview, question is asked, do you know what is the role of JVM? So most of the students are telling, yes, JVM will convert your source code to the bytecode and then executes the code. No, JVM will not convert your source code to the bytecode. Java compiler will compile it and then converts into the bytecode. Compiled bytecode is loaded into the JVM. Always remember. So here we need a bytecode. You cannot pass Java source code directly to the JVM. So that is very important. So JVM came just come into the picture at the time of execution. Okay, so this is straightforward. Now here we have a Java class libraries. What is this? So suppose in your application you need ready-made APIs, which is given by Java language. So ready-made classes and interfaces. So that libraries are loaded here at the time of class loader. Okay, so here at the time of compilation only references are kept. At the time of execution these are linked. So here linker also available. So in this diagram, linker is not given, but linker is available definitely. Class loader and linking, this is combined process basically, and it is linked, then it is loaded into the memory. Hello. If I'm not audible, then you can just interrupt me. Just give you the message you are not audible, okay? Because I'm just talking and talking, so I don't know what is happening behind the screen, okay? At your end. Okay, now this is the overall Java architecture. I will share the PPT also to you, so you can refer this. I will upload this on Microsoft Teams, so you can refer it. Now, these are some short forms, and you should know the long forms of each and every these jargons. Uh, these terminologies are used if you are learning the Java. Okay. JDK. So what is JDK? It's a Java development kit. It's a development kit is required to develop an application using a Java language. So you need this JDK. We have to install it, then we can develop a Java application. Otherwise, we cannot write a single program. We cannot execute a single program without this. JRE, this is only required to execute a code. This JDK is required to develop a code, compile it, test it, and then execute it. This is only required to execute the code. Okay, so what is the difference between JDK and JRE? This is a runtime environment. This is a development as well as runtime. So at the time of development, what we need? At the time of development, we need a compiler. At the time of development, we need the tools which supports our program for like a thread management, like just pop up the messages, like a graphical user interface processes, applet viewers. These tools are required for development. And once your program is developed for execution, we need a JRE. So JRE is basically available inside the JDK. But if already developed a program, if you want to execute, we don't want development kit, we want only JRE. Okay. Now Java Platform Edition, yesterday I mentioned this is J2 SE is the one version, edition, edition. This is core Java. So basic Java you can say, J2 SE or SE you can say standard edition. Desktop level applications, network related applications, which is a standalone application on each and every platform. These are designed and developed using the J2 SE version. J2 EE version, it's enterprise edition. This is the web level application you can design using J2 EE edition. So if you want to design a website or web application using Java as a language, there you need this edition, this JDK. Okay. So these APIs, these APIs we have to install. We have to use it, import it into your program. J2ME, it's a micro edition. It is used for a mobile platform, small devices like a tablet, mobiles, the small hardware like your in electronics we have a kits like your Raspberry Pi and Arduino is like this. So for small architecture, J2ME is used. Nowadays no one is used J2ME because other technologies are available which is very lightweight than your J2ME. That's why this J2SE and J2EE is okay. Most of the platforms are using nowadays also. It is well known. In J2EE, mainly J2EE is used, but you cannot learn J2EE directly. We have to learn J2SE first. And in this academic year, for a TY semester, that is part 1, semester 5th, we are learning J2SE, that is a core Java. Okay. Now JVM is an integral part of JRE. That means this JVM is a part of this JRE. So JVM, it's a runtime environment. That is actual component, you can say. It's not a runtime environment. It's an actual component for execution, which is available in this environment. Okay. Now JRE having the private and public folders on your system. This is available for the Windows. For Linux, we have only public JRE. So I will show you at the time of installation. Now IDE, that's a integrated development environment. To develop an application, we need a good IDE, right? That is your editor. Good IDE. Editor, difference between editor and IDE. Integrated development environment gives you so many facilities to develop and test your applications with a good intelligence support, color combinations, keyword supports, everything. And editor gives you only color combinations like a Notepad++, then your Sublime Text is, these are the editors. NetBeans and Eclipse is very good IDE. NetBeans is given by the your Sun Microsystem, and NetBeans itself is designed in Java. Eclipse is also open source free, but it is designed by IBM. So industry demands you have to comfortable with or you have to use at least one IDE, either NetBeans or Eclipse. So for Java programs, we will prefer Eclipse from the first programs. Maybe in the next week we will start the exact the programs. So we will see how to install Eclipse and then we start the programs using Eclipse. NetBeans we will not prefer. Both IDEs are similar but not same. It is little bit slow. Eclipse is good, easy to use, and industry demands Eclipse. That's why we will prefer Eclipse. Okay, and advantage to learn the Eclipse will help you to link the so many plugins for the different programming languages. So that is a benefit. That's why we will learn the Eclipse. Okay, for a NetBeans, if you only want to learn a Java, then you go with the NetBeans. Okay, so Eclipse having dual benefits, so that's why we will prefer Eclipse. Now two concepts are important: path and class path. For the first program we have to install JDK, and for that we have to set a path. So I will show you how to install JDK and from where we have to download the JDK. Okay, now on a net you just Google it, JDK download. Okay, so you will find the link. First is J2SE download Oracle Technology Network, Oracle Corporation. This is oracle.com. You just click on this, or here you have a JDK download link, you can click on this, so it will jump to this page. Okay, now here you will find it's a J2SE download Java platform standard edition, and here you have a version Java AC 14. So latest version of Java language is a 14 version. So Java language 14 version is available now. Here if you scroll down, then you have a Java 11. It's a J2SE 11 version. If you scroll down, you have a Java 8 version. Okay, so at least Java 8 you have to install it at least. And I just tell you, I want to tell you that you have to use at least Windows or Linux 64-bit operating system. Don't use 32-bit operating system. Most of the students are using still 32-bit OS. So nowadays no one is using 32, right? We are all are having the 64-bit architecture laptops and desktops, and we recommend you to use the 64-bit operating system, 64-bit all softwares. Don't use 32-bit. Okay, the small softwares you can use a 32-bit, because on 64-bit 32-bit softwares are you can install it, but don't use this 32-bit operating system. Why? Because your architecture is 64-bit, you are using 32-bit operating system. That means you are only 32-bit database, right? And that's why your architecture is not fully utilized. So your hardware is good, but your OS is not good. So please use the 64-bit. So install it. Here download is link is available. You just click on this. We have to install JDK. We are not installing JRE, because once you install JDK, automatically JRE will come along with that. Now install it. Just download it. After download, it will create one folder, one file. Sorry, that is like this: JDK 8U180 Windows i586. Now 586, this is 32-bit operating 32-bit setup. I have not installed this. I have 64 also, and already I installed this, so I will show you. You just, this is exe, you double click on this, On a Windows it is very easy to install, right? Just double click, next, 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 it will install on your system drive. Now I will show you where it is installed. So I installed a 64-bit. This is my 32-bit. I have not installed this. I have installed 64-bit setup. In this folder I don't have this. Yes, already I installed, that's why I am showing this. Okay, so I will show you. Go to your this PC. Okay, this PC and C drives, this is your system drive. Go to the program files. Now what are these two folders? This 86 means it's a 32-bit setups. This is without 86, it is a 64-bit. Already I installed a Java 64-bit, that's why my setup is available in this folder. You just click here. Now alphabetically search, you have a Java. In a Java we have a JDK, right? So JDK 1.8. so basically JDK setup 1.8, but it's a Java version 8. It is a setup version 1.8 and Java language version is a 8. And now what is the latest version? Java 14, right? And now here I have a JRE is a folder. This is a runtime environment available, which is available outside the outside the JDK. This is known as public JRE. So this JRE is available for the applications which is not developed by you, which is directly installed on your system. So on this computer, suppose I install any application which is designed and developed by Java. So for that we need a runtime environment, and for that this JRE will work. Okay, and for our applications we have a JDK. Inside JDK we have another JRE. So this JRE will help you to execute it. So this is a private JRE and outside is a public JRE. For a Linux, such kind of things are not available. Directly one JRE is available, that is applicable to all things. Now again I come back, program files, Java, JDK, and this inside the bin folder I have so many tools. Look at, so many tools are available. You just look the type here, application, 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 right? All are applications. Here if I go with this, look at Java C is there, right? So Java C is the compiler. You just check here if there is any information available. It's application Java TM platform standard edition binary. Yes, SE version binary is available. It's a compiler. Look at application, it's a file version 8.0. Copyright is 2016. Okay, this is exe. So when I installed it, modified in 2018, it is installed. Okay, so all the information you are here, you can see. Now here another Java is available, exe. This is your interpreter. We want this applet viewer is here. Jar, that is another exe tool is available. So many tools are available. These tools we want to develop an application. So I will just open one notepad plus plus. And now here I will create one program. So I give a name as a first program dot Java. Always remember here you have to choose a all files, right? Or you can choose a Java as a file. So I will, here I have a Java file, Java source file. So I save this, and now I type the program class first program. So always remember file name and class name must be same. So this is standard programming practice. You can make it different, but there are some certain rules. So that also I will clear. In a Java we have to define a main method is like this, public static void main. In C++ we have a int main. Here we have a public static void main. This is the inbuilt, not inbuilt, this is predefined structure for main because it is an entry, right? You cannot define main like this. If you define a main like this, so it is treated as the user defined main. It is not treated as the system defined main. So don't define this. So public static void main, and this is it takes this string args. It is a command line argument. So I hope you know the command line argument in C and C++. Yes. So in a C and C++, main function also takes a command line argument, and in a C and C++ we are taking two arguments. First is the number of argument, and second is the character array, that is the character pointer arg and argc, right? So their command line argument help. Here also command line argument, it is in the form of string. Now I will write a first program. So system dot out dot println, this is the statement which will help you to just display the message on the screen. In a C++ we are using cout and the message, right? But here C++ will not work, right? So every programming language in and out streams. Java also having in and out stream. In the here the system is a class, out is the static parameter of this class, and println is the function for this object. Basically SOP system.out returns you the object for print stream class. So IO instance, this is output stream instance, this is an instance of print stream class, and this is the function method for print stream class. And here you are calling the function, right? You are calling the method, you are passing string as argument. So SOP statement. So just check the program. My class name, public static void main. Main method must be like this. Don't make it capital small, it is small, right? Every keyword here, this is keyword, all are small. String yes is capital because it is a class. Args you can give any name, this is variable name. This is array. Now first program, first F is capital, program is P is capital, and follow the naming conventions. For a class we are following the title case. Class is a keyword small, curly bracket start, curly bracket end. Inside the class, this is the function, curly bracket start, curly bracket end. Don't give here semicolon because it is not required. In Java without semicolon it will work, so you prefer this one. Now single line comment you can write here. This is my first program. Save it, go to the folder, sorry, in programs, core Java, lecture 2. So here I will open the command prompt. Okay, so I will open it. cmd cd 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 core Java. So I just change the font. Okay, CLS. Okay, and now you just check the list of directories. Yes, so I have to go to the lecture 2 CLS. Now if I want to compile the program, so I have to compile like this: java c file name dot java. So this is available in lecture 2 folder, right? In a lecture 2 folder, first program.java is available. Java c file name dot java. If I fire this command, I have to just check whether the runtime environment, compile time environment is available or not. So look at, there is error, Java C is not recognized as internal or external command or operable program or batch file. So what we have to do it, we have to first install JDK, already we installed, right? And then here here it is already installed, but we have not set the path. So what is a path? This tool Java C is unknown to the this command prompt. That means this is to the operating system. So command prompt is used to communicate with the operating system. So these commands, basically whatever Java C we are firing here, it will help you to communicate with the OS, and OS don't know where Java C. OS don't know where is the Java C. So we have to set a path. So in this slide, you just check it, path. Path is an operating system environment variable which is used to locate Java C file. So we want this path. So how to set a path? So I will tell you. You just fire the command, say path is equal to, and this path we have to just copy and set here, paste. Okay, the semicolon, enter. Now your path is set, and now fire the command Java C. So before to fire, I will open the my folder because I want to show you the bytecode. Now check here how many files are available. Only one file, right? First program.java. Now I just clear the screen. CLS Java C first program dot Java. And now if my program is okay, it is a syntax free, then it will compile and it converts converts my source code to the bytecode. Now just check it, I fire it. Now error is gone, that Java C not recognized. Now it is trying to compile my program. Now it is compiled. Now after compilation, you just check here, bytecode gets created. First program dot class. It is a type is a class file. Previous type was Java source file. Now I want this bytecode. So how to compile, now how to execute it? Now use the interpreter. So in the first command, this is the compiler Java C. Now I want a interpreter. Interpreter needs the class which contains the main function, main method. So the first program, this file, I have only one class, first program, name is the class is first program, and in the first program I have a main, and for compilation I need a file, for execution I need a class. Okay, now you just check it. Okay, I just execute. So it is little bit slow. Okay, so it is showing me hello world as an output. So just revise the concept. Look here, Java source code, Java compiler, it is Java bytecode, right? After Java bytecode, now it loaded with the help of class loader. Now this is all internal process, right? We are dealing with this, but we are not dealing directly with this. It is internal process. It is with the help of your internal services, runtime services. Class loader, bytecode verifier. If bytecode is okay, then it executes on your system with the help of JVM. And here we are using Java as interpreter, right? In a command we are using this Java. This is interpreter. This is your compiler. Okay. And if within a program, if repetitive instructions are there, automatically behind the screen your compiler will, JIT compiler will, this JIT compiler will help you to compile your instruction uh, with the speed, okay, with the good speed. So this combination is required in that case. So otherwise interpreter is okay. Now this is your first program, that is hello world. Okay, so here path will we have seen what is path. We have to set a path uh, before to compile every program. We have to set before to compile and execute every program, we have to set a path. This is required. This is operating system variable. Another concept is a class path. Class path is not a operating system environment. This is Java platform environment. This is related to the Java runtime environment. And this will help you to link the number of classes at the runtime. So at the time of package, we will see class path. There is a concept available package in Java where we are grouping the number of classes in a one folder, one directory, and then we are communicating. So this is your class path. Okay. So this is the class path. Now we just look to the main. What is main? It must be public and static. Return type must be void. Parameter must be string args because it is a inbuilt main function. Main thread, it invokes the main function. Every program, the entry point for a desktop level application is the main function. It's an entry point function which is known to the your runtime environment. In C++, main function is invoked with the help of operating system. In case of Java, main function is invoked with the help of your Java virtual machine, and Java virtual machine is running on a top of OS. So main is your entry, and that's why it must be whatever this syntax is preferred by the developers who developed the your programming language. So public static, it must be same. It should be void there because we cannot return anything to the main. No use to return to the main, right? Because we cannot catch those values. Daemon thread is available. Daemon thread means the supporting services available to your application at the time of execution. These services are running with the help of daemon thread. So basically every program in Java having the main thread and daemon thread provided by your Java virtual machine runtime system. For example, one is a garbage collector. Garbage collector means when you execute your program, some memory is allocated, and in that case, after execution, when you close your program, we have to deallocate it. So who will deallocate that memory? So automatically this will deallocate, but it is not automatic. Behind your screen, Java virtual machine running one daemon thread, and that is a garbage collector. So garbage collector is running continuously. The service which is provided to your application, this is one example. So how many daemon threads or how many runtime services are available? So few services are like type checker, multi-thread support, your memory allocation, your deallocation, that is your garbage collector, then your uh, multi-threading support, multi type checker, multi-threading support, your garbage collector, type checker, your marshalling, your data type conversion, internal processes, then the version compatibility services. That means whether your application is having a proper version to the runtime environment or not. That services are also running. It is counted under a daemon threads. So uh, at the time of interview, most of the time they ask you, do you know the concept of garbage collector from Java? So basically garbage collector will help you to allocate and deallocate the memory uh, automatically and this is the daemon thread, and it is running under the JVM. So who is responsible for this is a JVM. So JVM will handle all these things. Okay, now the